Solo Sikoa thinks he's untouchable. He thinks he's the new head of the table. He thinks he can disrespect the legacy of the bloodline and nobody will do anything about it. Well, guess what? He's about to get a reality check that will leave him broken, humiliated, and stripped of everything he thinks he's built. Because Jacob Fatu, the real Samoan werewolf, is done playing games. He's done being Solo's attack dog. He's done being treated like a second-class citizen in his own family. And now, he's planning the most devastating alliance in WWE history to completely annihilate Solo Sikoa's fake empire. The USO brothers are coming back. Jimmy and Jay are ready to reclaim their family's honor. And when these three unite, Solo Sikoa's reign of terror ends in the most brutal fashion imaginable. Let me tell you exactly why Jacob Fatu has every right to be furious, and why Solo Sikoa deserves everything that's coming to him. For months, Solo has been running around WWE claiming to be the new tribal chief, acting like he built the bloodline legacy himself. But here's the truth that Solo doesn't want you to remember: he was nothing before Roman Reigns elevated him. Solo was a mid-card wrestler with no direction, no personality, and no future. Roman gave him purpose. Roman gave him a platform. Roman made him relevant. And how did Solo repay that loyalty? By stabbing Roman in the back the moment he got the chance. But the disrespect didn't stop there. When Jacob Fatu arrived in WWE, he came with legitimate credentials. This man was a world champion in other promotions. He was already a legend before he ever stepped foot in a WWE ring. Yet Solo treated him like hired muscle, like some mindless enforcer who should just follow orders without question. The breaking point came when Solo publicly called Fatu expendable during a backstage segment. Expendable. He called a former world champion, a third-generation wrestler, a man who could destroy him in a fair fight, expendable. That was the moment Jacob Fatu decided that Solo Sikoa's time as the so-called head of the table was over. Now let's talk about Jimmy and Jay Uso, because their anger runs even deeper than Jacob's. These two men didn't just help build the bloodline, they were the bloodline before Roman even became the tribal chief. They were tag team champions multiple times, main event performers, and the heart and soul of the faction's success. But Solo? He pushed them aside like they were irrelevant. He acted like their years of dedication, their sacrifices, their loyalty meant nothing. He brought in new people and treated the USO brothers like they were replaceable parts in his machine. Jimmy Uso has been vocal about his frustration with Solo's leadership. In recent interviews, he's hinted that Solo lacks the wisdom and respect necessary to truly lead the family. Solo thinks leadership means giving orders, Jimmy said. But real leadership means earning respect, and Solo hasn't earned anything from anybody. Jay Uso's anger is even more personal. He was Roman's right-hand man, his most trusted ally, his emotional support during the darkest moments. When Roman fell, Jay expected to have a voice in the family's future. Instead, Solo completely ignored him, making decisions without consultation and treating Jay like a subordinate rather than a brother. The USO brothers have been quietly building their own support within the extended Samoan wrestling family. They've been reaching out to wrestlers, building alliances, and preparing for the day when they could strike back against Solo's disrespectful regime. Here's where it gets really interesting, and this is information that Solo Sikoa definitely doesn't want getting out. Jacob Fatu isn't just planning a simple confrontation or a one-off attack. He's orchestrating a systematic dismantling of everything Solo has built, and he's doing it with the precision of a military operation. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Jacob has been secretly meeting with Jimmy and Jay Uso for weeks. These aren't casual conversations, these are strategic planning sessions where they're mapping out exactly how to expose Solo's weaknesses and destroy his credibility. The plan is multifaceted and absolutely devastating. First, they're going to isolate Solo from his current allies by exposing the lies and manipulation he's used to maintain control. Jacob has inside knowledge of Solo's methods, his insecurities, and his fears. He knows exactly which buttons to push to make Solo lose his composure and reveal his true character. Second, they're planning to systematically defeat Solo's supporters in matches, proving that his leadership has made the bloodline weaker, not stronger. Jacob Fatu is confident he can defeat anyone Solo puts in front of him, and the USO brothers are ready to reclaim their dominance in the tag team division. But the most brutal part of the plan? They're going to force Solo to face the consequences of his actions in front of the entire WWE universe. This isn't just about winning matches, it's about public humiliation and the complete destruction of Solo's reputation. The psychological aspect of this alliance is what makes it so dangerous for Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu isn't just a physical threat, he's a mental strategist who understands exactly how to get inside Solo's head. And with the USO brothers' help, he's creating a psychological pressure that's already starting to crack Solo's confident facade. Think about it from Solo's perspective. He's surrounded by people who he thought were loyal, but now he has to question everyone's motives. Is his current tag team partner truly on his side, or are they secretly communicating with the USO brothers? Are his advisors giving him good counsel, or are they setting him up for failure? Jacob Fatu has been dropping subtle hints on social media that have Solo paranoid and constantly looking over his shoulder. Cryptic messages about family loyalty and respect being earned, not taken, have the wrestling world buzzing with speculation. But Solo knows exactly what these messages mean, they're warnings that his time is running out. The USO brothers, meanwhile, have been making strategic appearances at WWE events, not as competitors, but as observers. They're studying Solo's matches, taking notes on his weaknesses, and making their presence known just enough to keep him on edge. Every time Solo looks into the crowd, he sees them there, watching, waiting, planning. This psychological warfare is already affecting Solo's performance. His recent matches have been sloppy, unfocused, and filled with the kind of mistakes that elite wrestlers don't usually make. He's constantly looking around, expecting an attack that might come from anywhere at any time. When Jacob Fatu officially announces his alliance with the USO brothers, it's going to send shockwaves through the entire WWE universe. This isn't just about three wrestlers joining forces, it's about the reunion of the most dominant Samoan wrestling family in history, united by their shared disgust with Solo Sikoa's leadership. The combined skill set of this alliance is absolutely terrifying for anyone who opposes them. Jacob Fatu brings raw power, technical excellence, and an intensity that's unmatched in modern wrestling. Jimmy and Jay USO bring years of tag team chemistry, high-flying athleticism, and an understanding of WWE's main event scene that few wrestlers possess. But beyond their individual talents, this alliance represents something much more significant. It's the restoration of the true bloodline values. Respect, loyalty, family honor, and earned leadership rather than assumed authority. These are the principles that made the bloodline legendary, and they're the principles that Solo Sikoa abandoned in his quest for personal power. The wrestling world is already buzzing with speculation about when and how this alliance will make its debut. Will it be a surprise attack that leaves Solo devastated? Will it be a formal announcement that gives Solo time to prepare? Or will it be something even more dramatic that catches everyone off guard? What we do know is that Solo Sikoa's days as the self-proclaimed head of the table are numbered. The real bloodline is coming back, and they're bringing a level of violence and intensity that Solo has never faced before. Here's what Solo Sikoa doesn't understand: his entire position of power is built on a foundation of lies and manipulation, and foundations like that can't survive when the truth comes out. Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers aren't just planning to defeat Solo, they're planning to expose him as the fraud he really is. Solo has been telling people that he's the natural successor to Roman Reigns, that he's the most qualified leader, that he's the future of the bloodline. But the reality is that Solo was never Roman's first choice. He was never the most skilled wrestler. He was never the most respected member of the family. He was just the one who was willing to betray everyone else to grab power. When Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers reveal the truth about Solo's rise to power, it's going to destroy his credibility forever. They have inside knowledge of the backroom deals, the manipulations, the lies Solo told to position himself as the new leader. And they're going to expose every single one of them. The wrestling world is going to learn that Solo Sikoa didn't earn his position through merit or respect, he stole it through deception and betrayal. And once that truth comes out, nobody will ever see Solo the same way again. But the destruction won't stop at Solo's reputation. This alliance is planning to systematically dismantle everything Solo has built. His current allies will abandon him when they realize he's been using them. His supporters will turn against him when they see his true character. His championship aspirations will crumble when he's forced to face opponents who know all his weaknesses. The ultimate goal of this alliance is to force Solo Sikoa into a confrontation that he cannot win, cannot escape, and cannot survive with his dignity intact. Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers are planning something that will settle this family dispute once and for all. Imagine the scene. Solo Sikoa, isolated and abandoned by his former allies, forced to face the combined might of Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers. No backup, no interference, no escape routes. Just Solo's inflated ego against the raw talent and righteous anger of the wrestlers he disrespected and betrayed. The match, and it will be a match that defines careers, will be more than just a wrestling contest. It will be a reckoning. It will be justice. It will be the moment when Solo Sikoa finally pays the price for his arrogance and disrespect. Jacob Fatu has the power to end Solo's career with a single devastating move. The USO brothers have the teamwork and experience to outmaneuver any strategy Solo might attempt. Together, they represent an unstoppable force that will crush Solo's delusions of grandeur forever. But here's the most brutal part, they're not just going to defeat Solo. They're going to humiliate him. They're going to expose his weaknesses in front of the entire WWE universe. They're going to make him acknowledge that he was never worthy of leading the Bloodline, that he was never in their league, and that his reign of terror was nothing more than a temporary illusion. After Solo Sikoa's inevitable defeat, the wrestling world will witness the birth of a new Bloodline, one built on legitimate respect, earned leadership, and family honor. Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers will establish themselves as the true heirs to the Bloodline legacy, and their dominance will reshape the entire WWE landscape. This new alliance will be everything Solo's fake regime never was: united, powerful, and genuinely respected by the wrestling world. Jacob Fatu's intensity combined with the USO brothers' experience will create a faction that other wrestlers will fear and admire in equal measure. The championship implications are staggering. With Jacob Fatu's individual dominance and the USO brothers' tag team expertise, this alliance could potentially control multiple championships simultaneously. They could become the most dominant force in WWE history, surpassing even the original Bloodline's impressive achievements. But beyond championships and victories, this alliance represents something more important: the restoration of integrity to the Bloodline name. Solo Sikoa dragged that name through the mud with his selfishness and disrespect. Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers are going to clean it up and make it something to be proud of again. The wrestling world will finally have a Bloodline faction that deserves respect, that earns their victories, and that represents the true values of the Samoan wrestling tradition. And Solo Sikoa will be remembered as nothing more than a cautionary tale about what happens when arrogance and disrespect meet their match. Solo Sikoa's time is running out. Every day that passes brings him closer to the reckoning he's been desperately trying to avoid. Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers are coming for him, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. The alliance has been formed. The plans have been made. The psychological warfare has begun. And soon, very soon, Solo Sikoa will face the consequences of his actions in the most brutal and public way possible. This isn't just about wrestling, it's about justice, respect, and the restoration of family honor. And when it's all over, the wrestling world will remember this as the moment when the real Bloodline reclaimed their rightful place at the top of WWE. Solo Sikoa thinks he's untouchable. He's about to learn just how wrong he is. The Samoan werewolf is coming, and he's bringing backup that will ensure Solo's destruction is complete and permanent. The question isn't whether Solo will survive this alliance, the question is how much will be left of him when they're done. And based on everything we know about Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers, the answer is, not much. What do you think about this alliance? Will Solo survive the combined assault of Jacob Fatu and the USO brothers? Or is this the end of his reign of terror? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's discuss what's going to be the most brutal family war in WWE history. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.